Yeah, we're live. Live right
We
now.
live?
Yep.
New location. Welcome to On the Mat, everybody. At the table, actually, today. We're at the table. We're going live?
Yeah.
You got the thumbnail and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, guys. We're on it today. We're on it. We got the rugby team training in the background. Show everybody what we're dealing with here. This is Sanganga. So we're coming at you live from Sanganga, Fiji, which is in the northern division of Fiji. So we're in Vanuatu, which is the second largest island to the north, the big island to the north of Fiji. And is Dikombia further north than Vanuatu?
Yeah, up in Madawata side.
But is it on top, or is it off to the side of Wundu Point?
Yeah, side of Wunderpoint.
So what's higher?
Feel like that's like the highest.
Everybody, tell me what's higher. Is Dikombia actually more north? Is Vanuatu the most northern? Or am I like way off on that? So I don't know the Fiji my Fiji geography. Oh yeah, no, there's more. Okay. But we're the biggest island. And we actually had a meeting, or at a dinner last night. We learned a lot about the history of Fiji, the history of Madawata, and yeah, it's just nice to sit down with people who know like history. I don't know, like you can read lots, you can do lots of school, but it's nice to actually hear like from people, like in a storytelling kind of way. So what do you expect from On the Mat with me? I guess what I want to do is I want this to be basically a conversation. I want you guys to be able to interact with me. We're doing live this week to see how it goes and to see like if you guys like the live engagement portion of it, stuff like that. So ask me some questions. What I want to do is just react live to current events that I'm reading, like as we're doing this, and answer some of your guys' questions towards the end. So, what's going on Twitter right now? So Tui's behind the camera right now. Tui, our content manager, at Call Me Tui on Instagram.
I sent you a video though.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's on WhatsApp, I think.
Okay, let me check this out. What's going on in Fiji right now? What's up, Twitter world?
It's actually a video.
Oh, okay.
Reacting. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, this is gonna be. Woo! Really? You set me up for this? Okay, here. So you guys can just listen to this, okay? Here.
Right.
Can you be racist to white people?
No.
Why not?
Listen, educate yourself on racism. You cannot be racist to white people.
But how? Why?
If you look it up, you'll understand. Cracker.
That's racist!
It's not racist, there's a difference.
If it was the other way around, they're not racist.
Yes, because who was enslaved?
Why are we throwing it
Exactly.
back?
Who was enslaved?
Have you ever thought, like, maybe racism isn't real? The higher powers are just controlling and doing that so we fight amongst each other?
Be for real.
I'm being for real. I don't believe in it. Like, why can't we all just be friends?
Okay.
Can you be racist to white people?
Okay.
Why not?
Wow.
I start off with a
Really?
bang.
Okay, we're gonna start off with a bang today. I need to sip on this. I'm not telling you guys what's in this drink for this question. Okay. Can you be racist to white people? So, I've always had the privilege of being. It's funny that you say privilege. Privilege. I've always had the privilege. I think it's privilege of being half white and half black. So, for those of you who don't know, I apologize about the background noise. So we don't have the mics today. I just want this to be something that we can do every day, no matter where we are. Usually we're going to be on the mat, okay? But it's a very loud vehicle behind us. Thank you for leaving. And so like I was saying, my father is Fijian. He's from Madawata. He's here from here in the allowance of playing both sides. So where I went to school when I lived in Canada is in northern, what they call northern, what you consider northern Canada. So a lot of Native American, Aboriginal people so when I say Aboriginal, people think like black skinned Aboriginal people from Australia. When I say and it's actually, you know what is the most racist thing is that like everybody calls like Native American people like Red Indians in Fiji, which is they don't take well to Red Indians. definitely an out-of-date term. Even like native people is not accepted anymore. Anyways, a lot of my really good friends when I went to school were Aboriginal people, and First Nations is actually what you're supposed to call them, because they're the first people who were actually, inhabited the lands in North America. So a lot of my best friends were First Nations kids, and a lot of my best friends were white. And so they're always like, oh, my friends at least are like super gangster, like, and so I got to play like, and there was a lot of racism in that place. So I got to play like the boundary, and so I got to make white jokes, and I got to make jokes at all of my native friends. And so same applies to me, I think, or I've had the same amount of leeway in Fiji. People don't know what to do with me. Like, it's hard to put me in a box. You can put me in the privileged box, I guess. I do consider myself to be privileged. Like, I think we all, you can look at your life from a victim mentality and think that you're not privileged, and just see how far that gets you. Like, the world is not out to reward those who want to be rewarded just for existing. So if that's what you want from the world, then you're not going to get it. So you got to go out and get what's yours. What is yours? And so this is I'm just wanting you guys to understand like why I have the opinion that I have. So I also have two sons, one who is very light skinned and one who is very dark skinned, or dark skinned like mine. So mocha latte, as they call me back in Canada. Yeah, I was like, oh, we lived in this city called Kelowna, and I was out with some friends. We were literally walking. We weren't drinking, we weren't doing anything. And this girl's like, she was drunk, and she was like, "Can you be my mocha latte?" And so from that, ever since that time, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. And now people are gonna start calling me mocha latte, but I was not her mocha latte. I'm Stephanie's mocha latte. It's a lady. So I'm sensitive to this conversation because I understand where people can be educated to believe that you can't be racist towards white people. And the argument for that is that white people, or colonizers, or whatever you want to call them, were the ones who invented racism. Or they came up with the concept of race, sorry. So the concept of race was invented by white people, and therefore the inventors of something cannot experience that thing. So, I don't know, I think that racism is done, like, in a lot of situations, not even, like, where people groups inside of themselves, like, are racist to each other. Not because of color. Like, Germans hated the Jews, the Jewish race, both white, but Jews had the big noses, and Germans had the blue eyes and the blonde hair. And so, what was that? I mean, they were trying to eliminate a race. And so, I think that was racism. I think. And I guess I think that racism can be done towards white people. And I just don't see, like, why that's a big deal. Like that guy said in the video, like, can we all just get along? Can we all just get along? And I don't know, like, I don't think any amount of apologizing for your forefathers' mistakes will ever put out the fire. If you want a fire to burn and you're going to keep stoking it, then it's going to keep burning. So and this is the thing where, like, Jesus totally flips this whole agenda on its head, because, like, he wants everybody, like, he wants us to acknowledge that, we are the ones who are supposed to serve each other. And so for you to go around pointing figures, it's like I posted, I think, on Twitter this week. I was like, my lesson from one of the readings that I did this week was, like, I don't need to use I need to stop using the Bible as binoculars and use it more as a mirror. So before I go to binoculars, looking at other people, looking at, like, judging other people, judge myself first. Look at the man in the mirror, as Michael Jackson said.
Hey. Nice.
But actually, as Jesus said, not Michael Jackson, because now we're on a different road. And
Right.
talking about race, a man who might have changed his race, if you think that's possible. If it's all skin color, we don't know. And also, like, before you look to take the splinter, what is it? The splinter out of your brother's eye, first take the plank out of your own. right? So I don't know what this like finger pointing thing does. Like I refuse to talk about society as a, it's hard to talk about society in like a constructive way when you talk about it like big society. It's way easier to make progress when you talk about me and when I talk about you. And so how do I change what I do is and affect the people inside of my sphere of influence. So like people like, and that's the thing with Twitter I've noticed, like people have these like big society like posts and it's like you're not achieving anything. I don't know if people are actually that concerned when they post about the things that they talk about, but it's like there is no applicable action that is able to be taken very rarely when you talk about people groups as a whole. And you can see it across the world. So do I think that right? Coming back to the point, do I think that you can be racist to white people? Yeah, I think so. Because, you know, and with the point that I made about like having 2 kids, like it would be weird that like you could be racist to my one kid who's like lighter skinned and not racist to the other, or that he could be racist and that Silva could be racist and Aliki couldn't be racist. Like because they have the same blood, they just happen to come out different colors. Like so. That's my personal experience. So I hope that you guys understand. It's a super touchy subject, and I have people who are very, very close to me that I love more than anything in the world who actually have very different opinions than me. And I think we're entitled to have different opinions on these kinds of things. And there's a book that, I can't remember who was the author, but it's called The Tolerance, what is it called? The Intolerance of Tolerance. Basically, the theme of the book was talking about how like we're not even willing to sit at the table nowadays. Not talking about society, but like it's very rare to be able nowadays to sit at the table with people who have different opinions. Like you usually like to agree to disagree is like a thing that like people hardly do anymore. Like they can't get past the fact that like they don't align on certain things. And like the most important, I think that's the problem is that like your identity is in the wrong place. Like my identity is found in Christ. So like if you're a brother and like you acknowledge that you needed Jesus to, you know, to save you, and that without him you were lost, and that, you know, you weren't going to enjoy eternal life in heaven. If you didn't do that, or if you do that, like hey, we're aligned on the most important things. It's like me and Stephanie. Like our relationship is super difficult at times, but it's also the easiest thing in the world because like it's never going to change because the most important thing to me is the most important thing to her. And so, but when people put their identity in like in race or in equality of outcome, equality of opportunity kind of conversations, then yeah, if that is who you identify as, then yeah, you're gonna have problems because disagreeing with something you say is actually disagreeing with you, which is like now a character flaw instead of just an opinion or a conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Long-winded. But do we have any people following? Did our subscriber count go down? While I was talking about that.
A lot of people just been asking like why the change of scenery today.
The what?
The change of.
The change of
today.
scenery? Yeah, I just also change of scenery because I want this to be something that we can do consistently. And if you want to do it consistently, then you just got to be able to just fire it off from anywhere. So we should be doing this better, coming prepared with our mics and stuff like that. So we'll do that better next time. And I don't even know if we're going to do this live all the time. We might actually post this in the podcast studio that we're trying to get up and going every day, and then just post it later on. But for me, it's just easier right now to just do it live and just get it up because you guys have seen it now. After the feed finishes, it's like it's up. So I want to talk about things that are going on in Fiji, like as we're talking. Like so, if it doesn't get loaded until tomorrow, it's like irrelevant to me almost. So what do you guys think? Does the live thing work? Do you like it? I know like the quality's not good and all this stuff, but we're trying over here, and you got to start somewhere. And the key to life, or not the key to life, just take action. Like you'll learn so much more by failing than you will by planning. So like you can plan, and I recommend planning, but eventually you have to take action because you'd be surprised the amount of people that plan and plan and plan for like years and learn more in their first week of experience than they did in their whole year of planning. So the same thing with this thing. We're just like, hey, we want to do this. We literally decided this like the day before, right? Like we want to do this. So what are you going to call it? I think like 10 minutes before we started the podcast, we're like, let's call it On the Mat because we're on a mat. It kind of sounds like it might be MMA or like boxing or something focused. You know what I mean? Judo, like on the mat. I do like MMA, but on the mat, like the imbe mat, like you know. But today, there's no mat. We are on chairs. Did you see that Digicel launched their 5G test network?
Oh, really? Today?
Yeah.
That
Lots
was-
of people have opinions about 5G. What do you guys think about 5G? Do some people think that it causes cancer and stuff like that? I mean, I don't know. Like, if you think 5G, explain to me. Like, I don't understand everything about it, but lots of people think that it's really, really bad for you. Why is it worse than 3G, 4G, LTE? I don't know, but like, I've heard lots of people who are worried about it. Why did somebody say something about it?
No, actually a question.
What's the question?
It's from Ryan Reddy. What is your opinion on development in Fiji for tourism? Do you think it is underdeveloped? Seems most people stay in Danarao and few people look for activities. It seems limited.
Yeah, so Fiji is a place where you can. I mean, I've said this so many times, but there's so many different Fijis. There's the Denarau Fiji, there is the Coral Coast Fiji, there's the Sula Fiji if you live in the city in Sula, there's the Senganga, like rural town Fiji, like Tavua, Reki kind of feeling, you know. And then there's where we live in the village, you know, in the Koro. And that's not that far away. Then you can have like the highlands and like the Siri and up there. So like there's so many different kinds of Fiji for people to experience that it's hard to say exactly what they should experience. I think Fiji's like underdeveloped for sure when you compare it to like Hawaii. So it's I always call it like it's a very create your own holiday kind of place. Like you have to come here willing to just know that like you have the accommodation, but you know, you kind of have to come up with the rest on your own or like find somebody to talk to. So if you're not the adventurous type, like Fiji's not the place you're gonna come for vacation. Unless you can go to like a Kokomo or like Laudala or something like that. Like you're doing really, really well for yourself. Or you have like a fully catered holiday. Because there's not a lot of like all-inclusive options in Fiji. And there might be, but that's like, you guys haven't done a good job of marketing it. Because I get tons of messages like, what should we do? Minor birds. We get tons of DMs like, hey, what can we do in Fiji? What's good to do? What's good to go? Like, or where is good to go? And so like, do a better job of marketing. And I was gonna say like, man, do these like hotels and stuff? They gotta do such a better job of like embracing like influencer marketing. Like, you guys gotta have like, use some of your marketing budget to bring somebody out who will get like a couple 100,000 views for you. Because when you know people are looking to go on holidays, they see stuff on their phones and they're like, that looks cool, I want to go there. And the fact that like people keep putting money into like tourism expos and this kind of stuff, it's like, it's 2023, like we gotta kind of wake up. I don't know, I guess like the tourism expos I think are more for the like travel agents and stuff like that, for people in the industry, I suppose. But it's really funny. I think people, if there was a content creation in general beyond the cliche kind of stuff, who does a good job? Nomotu does a good job with their social media. They probably have a few people out who are big names in surfing and stuff like that. So I see them, but like, man, it's pretty rare. I'm not talking about bringing us in. I'm talking about bringing people in who are followed, like for traveling, right? Like have those people come out and stay. What was the question again?
What is your opinion on development in Fiji for tourism? Do you think it is underdeveloped?
Okay, yeah, so thank you for reminding me about what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the people late for training here. Look at this, show them. You guys are late. Extra lines. Man, I used to get punished. So my rugby trainer when I was playing rugby for Team Saskatchewan in Canada, he was an ex-British SAS officer, and he actually had this like this disease or something. He couldn't grow hair. So he had no eyebrows, no eyelashes, no facial hair, obviously no nothing. and he was just like this like shining white figure, like picture a person that can't grow hair. And he was so intense. Like if you did this and showed up late for training, you would get your butt kicked. It was like you never wanted to show up late for training. So I don't know, but Fiji time, right? Fiji time. I think there's a lot of room for tourism, like not ecotourism, but like more of the jungle side of Fiji. Like people need to, I think lots of people do the tropical thing, like the seaside, blue ocean, like snorkeling, because that's what sells. I get it. But like, if you guys can see our DMs, like, there's a lot of people who are looking for like that to the roots kind of like Fiji experience, homestay. They just want to like see what a village, like what do you do in a village? Like, so if you could set up like where the women, are like weaving the mats, the kids are playing touch in the afternoons. Not even set it up, like just what happens in the village, like what happens in our village. Like, people are out fishing, and they just want to come and experience that. So if somebody was like could set up a package where, and usually like the thing, because I used to holiday, I would want to finish that off with like a couple days at a really nice hotel, right? So like somebody would put together packages with like village homestays and then finish it off, and like the whole thing was catered, like, and then the transport will come pick you up, take you back to the airport and fly you. That transport will take you to the hotel where you'll finish off a couple days just like in the spa or whatever people want to do, and then you can leave the country. But like people do want that experience. Yeah. So I think there's a gap for people to market authentic Fiji. Yeah.
Okay.
GCC is back, eh? Or coming back? Great Council of Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I heard that they're going to be doing it in Bao.
The first meeting?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. The members of the Great Council of Chiefs will be accommodated on the island of Bao during the 4-day meeting. Yeah. I wonder what kind of changes that'll bring to Fiji. Do you think it'll bring changes?
Mostly for the Vanua, I guess, but yeah, people feel like in between. Well, the initial deal was, for them not to be involved in politics, I guess.
Right.
Which is why that was the first reason why they had to
Taken out.
take the GCC away.
Right.
For the last government, because they were too involved in politics, and they have a say in that. So hopefully this government really nail it down to just separate them and let it run on its own lane.
Okay.
And for the government to do their own things. Sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good if it's done well. Like anything, though, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's mismanaged, then like it's not going to be necessary, basically. Because I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, we're going backwards. This government's taking us backwards." I don't know if that's true, because I don't actually know what exactly is their whole entire scope. I know that's about as much as I know. Is that they're very influential in the maintenance and the preservation, and also the next steps for how does the Vanua fit into 2023 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that needs to be led by people who have the ability to take it to an uncomfortable place, because look at this. Got friggin' traffic going on over here on the mat. I think it's better in the village, eh, guys? More quiet, eh? Just rugby in the background every day. So, yeah, if the Great Council of Chiefs can be brought back and be led by people who are willing to make things uncomfortable in the best interests of the people, because what the people want isn't always what the people need either, right? So there are some things that we have to let go sometimes, and there are a lot of things that we have already let go, and people don't really acknowledge it. I spoke about it at a Matakali meeting once. Yeah, Moshiwa Makalia. I was, I brought up like, well, don't be afraid of change. Like change is it's already happened. Like it's here. Before, one of the things I said, we used to wash laundry in the river, like on the rocks in the river. All the ladies, that was like a big thing. Like, I remember when I was a kid, all the ladies used to go down to the river, like talanoa, laughing, kids are swimming, and the ladies are doing laundry. Then like we got running water to the village from a spring, and now we all have the sinks in our house, and everybody does laundry at their home. That part of community is gone forever. It's never coming back. Like that's actually a huge thing. Like to me, that the women used to sit around like every day or every other days, like to
Wash clothes.
just joke around and like we were just playing on the side of the river, and like that was huge, and that's gone forever. You know, and like now we have electricity. So like before we used to all go out and like get fire, or like we have gas, right?
Yeah.
People can afford to buy gas now, or some people. And like, but those of them who can't, like before it used to be like a big thing, we all go out and get firewood together, right?
Yep.
Now it's just like one family on their own. If like they run out of gas or they can't afford gas, like they just have to go and figure out how to get them firewood. Before it was like, we'd all like do it together, right? Okay.
It's all a communal thing.
Yeah, communal, right?
Yeah.
So like, change has already happened a lot. And I'm not saying that it's good, but it's happened. So like to say like, you are opposed to change, it's like, just take a look around at what used to be and what is now and see how it's going. And like, do you like having a cell phone? Do you like having roads that don't have potholes in them? Do you like having education for your kids? Do you like having teachers that are paid by tax dollars? Like, if you do, then chances are you like modern day democracy, which is going to come with some things that you will have to give up. I'm not saying you give up the vanilla, that's not what I'm saying, or take away the Great Council of Chiefs or whatever. I'm just saying that we need to be willing to talk about change.
Yeah.
Because people, like I said, people might not know, like they might think they want something, but they don't. Or they want something, but they can't accept that comes with change.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see what change they will bring.
Yeah, it will be. A lot of people were waiting on this government to do exactly this, and so we're here now. So we'll see what happens. Well, there's something else I wanted to talk about here. Any other questions? Did you see anything come up on Instagram? Yeah, let's do some questions.
Okay. Another question from Ryan Reddy. Why doesn't Fiji have all-inclusive travel deals? Canadians and Americans can travel to Mexico for 7 days for under $750 for a flight, hotel, meals, and drinks.
Yeah.
Flights to Fiji alone are $2,000.
Yeah. So the way that they're able to do that is the airlines buy these like old Sunwing or some of these other companies. They buy like older aircrafts from like the Uniteds or like the Emirates or Air Canadas or whatever you want to say, and then they run these cheap aircraft into these locations and they pack them full of people who are all on this like one destination. So like when you get on an all-inclusive flight, you're with all the people that are going to like, all the people on the flight are also part of like the all-inclusive thing. So like the travel company owns the transport, and you get there and then you get on the bus, their bus that takes you to all the different hotels, right? So there's a full ecosystem around that, and I think Fiji, again, it's a rock in the middle of the Pacific. It is so hard to get that kind of structure and that kind of thing going because we're so far away, and it just costs so much to get people out here. The all-inclusive deals, I think, would price us out because people will book to come to Fiji and will spend more than they think probably. But if you were to include all of that in like one deal, like, hey, pay $5,000 now and get a 1 week vacation, people would be like, no way. Like, I'm not going to do that. I could go to Mexico for this. But they book the Fiji vacation because they just see, oh, the flights are $2,000. Oh, the hotel's only like a few $100s a night. Like, that's not bad. And then it's like, but it adds up. So it'd be a hard thing to try to package. There are some hotels here that do it, but to a certain clientele. So we're always going to be fighting that. So I think the tourism industry has to diversify a little bit. I think we have to also diversify the economy away from such like a sugar tourism re- reliant economy, because there's other opportunities that we need to look into as well, like hemp in agriculture.
Mm.
But we are so stuck in, well, we've kind of entrenched ourselves in the sugar industry that, like, if you were to introduce hemp here, which is hemp, people are like, oh, marijuana. It's like, yeah, it's the same plant, but it's got no THC. So you can smoke hemp all day and you'll feel about as much as, you'll just feel ill. Like, it's just, there's nothing in it that would induce any sort of like marijuana kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But hemp would grow very well, probably in Fiji, but it would probably decimate the sugar industry because there's so many things that hemp can be used for, and if you brought hemp here, people would start, because labor is cheaper, they probably set up factories here to value add to the hemp, like make all the construction materials, make shirts and stuff like that, make all the clothes that the things that hemp makes. And I think that they would just crush sugar. So yeah, with tourism, I think it's hard. It's hard because we're so far away. I think we have to give people an exclusive kind of feeling if they're going to book a Fiji trip. Like, it has to be sexy. It has to be like exclusive. Like I said, it has to be one of a kind and unique. And so I think you're able to do each of those things in each niche. So, for those people who book at the Lauderdale and the Kokomos, and then you have your like intercontinental people, Denarau gang, and then you have like, the Wailoloa, kind of like the entry-level hotels. I think you can make each of those unique, but it has to be marketed properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions there?
Yeah, from Francis.
Timmy.
Have you run into this problem? I know it's super easy to send money into the country in Fiji, but doing the opposite or sending outside is super hard and restricted. I believe it's to be $2,000 a
Like
year
the limit?
allowed. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have heard. We're in a unique situation because we have income outside of the country, so we don't have to move money like a lot, like country to country. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but I have heard. So, say like I went to India, and I had to order a bunch of equipment, and so, but before I went, I sent the payment because I went to look at it, and then I came back, and then I paid for it. That would have been almost impossible, I think, if all my money was in Fiji. So I sent it from my Canada account because that's how I could do it. So like, my intention is to benefit the Fijian economy. So like, sometimes the things that come in here get paid with outside money, but they'll be taxed in Fiji. So yeah. But it is difficult. It's very difficult to move. And actually, one thing you'll notice with a lot of hotels and stuff, I believe, is that they register like booking agencies in other, like say in Canada or in the United States. And so when people pay with credit cards, that money stays in an overseas country, overseas bank account. So they can do stuff like bring in all of this fancy equipment, the couches and chairs and all of the stuff they want, the equipment from overseas. But when you come to the hotel, when you pay cash, all the extras that you pay for, that pays for like the bills, the staff fee, and all that stuff. So they've diversified their money in a way, which is smart, putting your money in more than one place, so that it's accessible from more than one place. So they don't have to worry about sending money out. Because I have heard it's really, really hard to get your money out of Fiji. Basically, the way I think you can take way more like in your pocket out of Fiji, like if you fly, than you can send in a year. Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can walk out of Fiji with 10,000 cash.
No?
Yeah, in your pocket. You have to tell them that.
Yeah.
You're walking out with that much.
Yeah.
But I think but it's way harder to send bank transfers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's some questions on Instagram. You can look it up.
Did you send it to me?
No. I screenshotted it, but we didn't add it.
Instagram.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are they
and,
investors?
I think one of that girl that messaged us. With
Oh yeah,
some-
right.
yeah.
Yes. Look at us going live. We're going live here, people. You're seeing all this right now. Oh yeah, the boys. We killed the chicken today.
Oh,
Can we
yeah.
talk about that?
No,
Okay.
no.
Oh yeah, no. There's lots of chickens in the village, and so we're eating one for dinner.
Yeah.
The boys had fun. You guys can check out the story for us. Me sharpening the knife. Poor chickens. Yeah. You know what, guys? Today was a very hectic day, so I didn't actually get a chance to look through all the things that people sent to me. So, I think we're going to end it here. That's my opinion on everything that's going on in Fiji, and I'll talk about more of these things tomorrow at the same time. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.